In this video, I'm going to solve this question. How many 5-letter words can be made out of the 26 letters of the English alphabet if repetitions are allowed but not consecutive repetitions? This last sentence means that a letter may not follow itself in the same word. So let me first explain you the meaning of this thing, that if repetitions are allowed but not consecutive repetitions. So this means that words like A, I, B, these are allowed. Okay, now see what's happening in this word, that A is repeated, I is also repeated, but this is not consecutive repetition. What would be an example of consecutive repetition? Consecutive repetition would mean that I have A, then let's say I, B. Okay, so this is consecutive repetition. After A, we have an A. This is also a consecutive repetition because after I, we have an I. Okay, over here we do not have consecutive repetition, right? So after A we have I, and then after I we have A, and then again after A we have I. So in this word there is repetition, and the repetition is allowed, but there is no consecutive repetition in this word. So these type of words are allowed, but these type of words are not allowed. Okay, so that's what we mean by repetitions are allowed but not consecutive repetitions. That means a letter may not follow itself, okay, in the same word, right? So now let's find these number of ways. So because we have to create 5-letter words, so I have created 5 blanks over here for 5-letter words, right? Now let's see in how many ways can we fill these blanks. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the first blank. In the first blank we can put any letter, right? So there are 26 ways to fill this blank, and let's say we write the letter I over here. Okay, so first blank can be filled in 26 ways, and for now we are just going to imagine that we have filled the first blank with the letter I. So now if this is the scenario, then in how many ways can we fill the second blank? Well, the thing is that consecutive repetition is not allowed, so we cannot have I over here. So we cannot have I over here because I is there in the first blank. We are allowed to have the other 25 alphabets, okay, but we cannot have I. That means to fill the second blank there are 25 ways. Okay, and let's say that we write the letter P over here, right? So the second blank can be filled in 25 ways, and for now we are imagining that we have filled the second blank with the letter P. Now in how many ways can we fill the third blank? Okay, so in the first blank we have I, in the second blank we have P, in the third blank we cannot have P, right? Because consecutive repetition is not allowed, so we cannot have P, but we can have I. Okay, but we can have I because the repetition is allowed, but consecutive repetition is not allowed, right? So I is there in the first blank, I can also appear in the third blank, that is not an issue, but P cannot appear in the third blank. So in total, how many ways are there to fill the third blank? 25 ways, right? Because P is the only alphabet that cannot come in the third blank. Now similarly we can talk about the fourth blank and the fifth blank. So let's say in the third blank I'm writing Z over here. Now in the fourth blank we cannot have Z. Okay, so we cannot have Z over here. We are allowed to have any other alphabet apart from Z. So we can have I also, we can have P also, right? So how many ways are there? 25 ways. And let's say if I write the letter I over here, then how many ways are there to fill the fifth blank? 25 ways, right? Because if in the fourth blank we are writing I, that means in the fifth blank we cannot have I. Okay, we can have any of the other 25 alphabets, but we cannot have I. So there are 25 ways. Okay, so first blank can be filled in 26 ways, and then all the other blanks can be filled in 25 ways, right? So that's what I have written over here. First blank 26 ways, second blank 25 ways, third in 25 ways, fourth in 25 ways, fifth in 25 ways, and we have to make a 5-letter word. That means we have to fill the first blank and the second blank and the third blank and the fourth blank and the fifth blank. And when we are counting the number of ways, and means multiplication, that means total number of 5-letter words are going to be 26 multiplied by 25 multiplied by 25 multiplied by 25 multiplied by 25, and this is equal to this number. Okay, so that's the right answer.